training in indoor conditions, getting used to the
Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. We go to Marvel Stadium, so it's indoor with a nice roof on it. So we typically do that any time we've played there. So boys have had a little freshen up inside.
We noticed both Stephen and Carl were having a bit of a run around. They're ones that tips would come into the side.
Yeah, they were absolutely. You're right on the money. Carl will come into the side, and Stephen will travel as emergency.
Yeah,
that's the only change.
Yep.
Happy with Carl. I think 1 or 2 weeks back in the centre. Were you seen enough?
Yeah, his form's been really strong. I mean, he was really. We really missed him when he got hurt, and from the AFL point of view, and he got back quicker with his knee, and he's played really strong footy. He's been, we've said previously this week, we've got a lot of boys in the sample playing pretty strong footy. He's in one of the absolute leading contenders, and now he gets back into the side.
Do you think he's turned a corner, improved himself dramatically in the last 12 months? Because
I think he's been a gradual build, Carl, and he's done really well. He's a late draft pick, and he's managed to come through and play, I think, maybe nearly close to 50 games, if he's not. So he's building a really nice career now, and I think your question is, he's probably playing the most consistent football he's played. So I think that's the answer there. He's playing really strong footy.
7 rounds in now, and I think you've only used 25 players. I think that's right. So what does that mean for the consistency of the team and be able to have that going forward?
Yeah, well, I think any team wants to have consistency of people out there playing together, so that's really important. We understand that we've still got some challenges, because some of them players that we haven't used haven't been available for the whole year, so that, we would like that number to be a little higher, but perhaps we're having a good run with the injuries with most of the other guys.
And is that to manage some of the loads going forward, or would you be happy to play just the 25 all year?
Yeah, if I was dreaming, I'd say, yeah, we'd like to play 25 all year, but we know that's not going to happen. But, while you can get them together as best you can, you take those opportunities.
There's been a lot of talk about your young players, that high draft picks, and they've been really good. Do you think at some stage you will plan a best for them?
No, not really. I mean, we'll manage them really closely and really well. But if they're playing well, as I've said a number of times already, if they're playing well and they deserve to be picked, we will pick them. If their form drops off like any other player in the team, well, then there's an opportunity that we may handle them slightly different to a more senior player. If we were to put them out of the side, we may rest them if that was the case, if they're out of form, but not unless they're out of form.
Do venues change the way you prepare or play in terms of Marvel v the MCG perhaps?
No, not really. I mean, we played on all of them, so we don't mind either way, to be honest. We just get an opportunity to go over there and play the way we want to play, so that'll be important.
No preference? I mean, teams always, interstate teams, so the MCG is where you'd rather be?
Yeah, well, we say that because that's where the finals are typically played, so we'd like to get an opportunity like every side does, but we get our opportunities, but we get opportunities to play at all the grounds, and we look forward to them all.
Is there a buzz around the club when you play a big Friday night game against a team like Collingwood in Melbourne?
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's absolutely exciting because we know what we're coming up against, and Friday night football for our football club is really important. We've gone now 3 weeks in a row, and we've represented ourselves really well, and hopefully we can do that again tomorrow night, and it'd be nice to go 3 from 3 from Friday.
How do you or who gets the job on Jordan De Goey?
One of our players will have to play on him at some stage.
Get a lot. That's who possibly.
We don't. Look, it depends where. Jordan's such
when he goes forward.
He's a forward. He's clearly our backs are there, and we don't change our back setup too much based on who the opposition put where. So, if he's in the last line, it's probably Cleary. It's probably Howard. If he's up the field a little bit more, it's probably Burn Jones. It's probably Houston, and if he's right up the field, it's probably Bonner, and it's probably Burton. So, it just depends on how we structure up, and Leonard's in there as well. So, we don't change. As silly as it is, we don't change for what the opposition have in what spots. We back our players in to play their spots.
How tough is it when they, obviously Dustin Martin or De Goey, these midfielders can go forward and be so dangerous in one-on-one situations? How hard is that defensively when you're planning for that?
Yeah, it's a really difficult challenge for our players, for them to be down there, and the team defending really well helps anyone that gets that situation. We haven't got Tommy Jonas, at the moment, who's probably our go-to guy on those types of players. So, it's a good opportunity for our younger defenders to take on one of the greats.
Just on Tommy, he did a quick sort of run this morning, and then did one sprint or jog, and then came off. And sort of might have said he was a bit sore to the trainers. How far along do you think he is, and how much more do you think he'll miss that?
Oh, he's got a small calf strain, so you determine how quick you go when you're in your recovery by when you can run, totally pain-free. We won't take a risk with Tommy. We'd be very careful with him, but hopefully he's on track to play a game next weekend.
So showdown, do you think he's a chance of next week?
Well, that would be the plan, yeah. But it's like last week I said he's a chance to play Friday. So you just don't. You're never quite sure.
Tom Cleary's been one of the standouts for the team this year. How impressed have you been with his ability to stand up, particularly with Jonas out?
He's moved into another bracket, I think, Tommy. I think he's moved up into a high-level defender now. He's probably was an emerging defender, perhaps through the back end of last year, and I think he's consolidated that, and he's moved into a really, really reliable and good player for us now. So he's a top-class defender for us.
Is it surprising to you, given how highly you rate them and how well your defence has performed, that I suppose the Clearys and the Howards of the world, they're not really household names in the AFL?
Yeah, they are at Port Adelaide, but that's sometimes an advantage. You're out of way. You tend to be out of mind, out of sight a little bit. But for us, we've been really comfortable with the development of our young backline for the best part of 18 months. So they've taken another step up by the look of them this year, and they're going to have to continue to take steps up for us to become a really strong football team.
Scotty likes it. Had his Grundy voodoo doll out this week.
I hope so. It's a big doll though. I think it's a beast, that doll. So him and Paddy will have a great challenge. And they understand how good Brodie is, and he's one part of an outstanding midfield though.
So the tactics that he would have used in the grand final, does he talk to Paddy about what they did effectively and to do that again?
I'm sure they always share information about who they've played against because both boys have been at different clubs. So and they're both well and truly into their careers. So I'm sure they always share information about opposition players and what best works for them against them and what didn't work for them against them. So it's good.
I got sick of talking about it after round one with Maxie Gorn, but it's been 5 weeks, so we talk about it again. Is that the sort of tactics you employ with Brodie?
No, I said that after Matt. We like every club. You do that sort of stuff every week. It's not. It was blown out of proportion. It was nothing other than a normal game of football.
So just, is it just because it was pointed out more in the coverage?
Yeah, I absolutely think it was round one. It was round one. It was the start of the season. There was things to look out for. There was things to watch for, and we had some new people out there for the first time, and they were doing some stuff that was not dissimilar to what every club does.
How significant is Travis Blake's milestone tomorrow night?
It's incredible. Really proud of Trav. 250 games, and I've been lucky enough to be involved with him for 6+ years now, and clearly one of the best decisions I've made in football was to appoint him captain of this footy club. When we first came together in 2013, and he's been such a great player for us and such a great teammate for his teammates, and just an incredible leader of our football club, who even before my time made a stand on what he loved about Port Adelaide and stayed with the club.
So if that was your best decision, how did you rate your decision given his start to this year to not play him in the midfield in recent years?
Good. Whack, cop that.
It's only because Trav said the other day, he said he was very, very pleased when he was asked to come back in the midfield.
Yeah, well, maybe even the better part about the decision was that we've now given him a great chance to prolong his career for a lot longer. So maybe we were geniuses. Look, he's been a really good contributor though, regardless of where he's played, and I think that's really important. People have lost sight of the fact that as a high forward for us in the last couple of years, he was rated in the top 4 or 5 in the competition. So he wasn't a bad player by any means, and he's certainly made a mark again this year. But I think that would go hand in hand with the people he's around to. Rockcliffe's back in form, and Lycett's in the ruck with Ryder, so he's getting some good opportunities in there, and he just looks after himself so well. He's so powerful still, and he's turning 31 this year, but incredibly powerful runner.
By that way of thinking, could you ever have imagined that Brad Ebert would be leading your goal kicking?
No, there's another good decision we made. So, no, Brad's doing really well for us. So, who knows? Maybe in another year's time he goes back into the midfield. So, you put players where you need them, and you put players where they complement the team the best. And at the moment, both boys complement the team in the positions they're playing really well.
And given how you don't play the MCG much, obviously that's where you've got to play if you want to win the ultimate. Do you feel a little bit offended as a club you don't get to play there tomorrow night, given that's Collingwood's home ground?
No, I don't. The draw's a draw, and the AFL do the absolute best they can to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to play in the right spots at the right time. Imagine trying to organise 18 teams and give them all the opportunities to what they need to do and what they want to do, and our wish list is based around Adelaide. So, we work towards whatever we have to work towards with the AFL and accept our opportunities to play where we play.
What have you said to Stevie Motlop this week at selection? You would have thought he might have been a chance?
Oh no, travelling emergency, and your way back into the side is to be consistent and be really strong with your form, which Stevie's done really well so far. we have a team that's in pretty good form. So I think when you've got a team in pretty good form, it's sometimes harder to get in. It's also harder to get out.
How's he taken that? As someone who's played a lot of senior footy, probably had
Outstandingly well.
stack at times.
He's been outstanding, Stephen. His leadership and drive when he's played in the Magpies has been unbelievably good, and it's great credit to him. And he'll get back in our side pretty soon.
A lot of boys, when they do get dropped, they speak about going back to the Magpies and enjoying football more. One, why don't they enjoy football in the AFL? And like two, what does it sort of say
I
about the
think
Magpies?
what they say is sometimes you do relieve a bit of pressure. You know, they're scrutinised really closely at AFL level, and you drop back a level, you get to just go out there and play, and there's not as much pressure. But when you're a Stephen Motlop type player who's got high quality games of football behind him, people always apply some pressure to you, and Stephen knows that.
Anything else about Jack?
Trini?
Jack Trengo, he's in great form in the sample.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Can I ask about Charlie?
Would you like to?
Do you actually not want us to ask about Charlie?
No, you can ask me about Charlie.
He looks pretty good.
He's looking like he's, as use your language, I think he's maybe turning a little bit of a corner. So that's really important for us, and such a positive news thing for us is that as a footy team to know that that Charlie and Hammer and some other boys underneath are going to be coming back into the side not too far away now. Feels like a good day.
So with Charlie's progression, when did you get to the point where he can possibly play a sample game or something like that?
Too far out for me to answer that accurately for you.
Okay.
But it's as simple as that. Let's let him progress, and if he does progress to running more consistently out on the grass in the next week and a half, we'll probably then can give you a bit more of a time frame.
So it's like a bit of a lighter running session he had earlier this week, was it? Or?
Yeah, no, he's just building. So he's built from Ultra G running sessions now to on the grass. So that can progress quickly, or it can be stalled, which is what's happened in the past.
So the next week
Last
is
couple.
pretty important with his to see if he doesn't sort of get sore or have any ill effects of that workload.
Yeah, every session he does is pretty important for what he's trying to achieve, and for us, we're really patient and we're really mindful of how much he'll bring to our team when we get him right.
Can we just ask one about Collingwood?
Yes,
Without dissecting them.
we are playing them. Yep.
Yeah, no, without dissecting them, we should probably ask about them, without dissecting them entirely, the way you've done behind closed doors, are there areas that you've identified as perhaps in your favour or in their favour at this point in the week?
I think the biggest thing we've identified is playing one of the real informed teams in the competition, and they've got absolute talent on every line. They're incredibly strong list, and we get an opportunity to take on one of the benchmarks of the competition and measure ourselves a little bit and see how we go. We look forward and embrace that opportunity, and we can't wait to get over there.
What is it that makes them good?
Just said they've got such talent across the whole, and they play great team football. I think if you look them play, they just play with such composure and speed. And then I heard Nathan talk about the little tweaks for them makes a significant difference, and that's what happens when you get your team rolling. You just tweak a little bit, and they can turn games pretty quickly. So for us, we can't afford to drop off.